Okay, good evening. The 777th meeting of the City of Laurel Historic District Commission will come to order. The qualifications of the members of the commission, the staff to the commission, and any consultants used are on file with the city and are hereby made a part of each and every application heard today. The guidelines and procedures adopted by the commission are also made a part of each and every application. Each application heard today is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Chairwoman Blitz.
Here.
Mr. McSaney.
Here.
Councilman Les. Mr. Kluckhuhn.
Here.
Mr. DiLorenzo. Mr. Dyer.
Here.
Mr. Hayes.
Here.
And we do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes for the HDC meeting held on May the 6th, 2014. Are there any comments or corrections to those minutes?
Did we look at these before?
No.
We looked at the May ones.
The May ones we did, but we didn't have a quorum to approve them at the time.
But we voted on the June ones.
Yes. No. Yes. Okay. Sorry.
If I had it, I think I gave it back to you last time. But I
Yeah.
don't think that's, oh, I'm not a problem.
You weren't there,
I'm
not a
here.
problem. That's why we couldn't do them before.
Excellent.
Could I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the minutes for the 6th HDC meeting.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the May 6, 2014 meeting made by Mr. Hayes and seconded by Mr. Dyer. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Mr. Dyer.
Yes.
Mr. McSaney.
Abstain, I was absent.
Mr. Kluckhuhn.
Abstain, I was absent.
Chairwoman Blitz.
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Something. We did not approve the June minutes yet, correct? Because this is July, so
If what now?
we still need to approve the June 24th minutes, correct?
Yeah, but it was, we did approve one last time.
I believe it was the April one.
It was the April one.
So, okay. The next agenda item would be the approval of the minutes for the June 24th, 2014 meeting.
Did we have that? I guess you emailed it or something?
Oh, you don't have your minutes in your packet either?
No, all I got this. Unless it's
She did email them,
I got this.
and if I recall,
And then I got this
you said they were
separately.
okay on the responding email.
I said?
Yes.
Would I lie? Of course not.
Do you-
Madam Chair, I move approval.
Is that you, Robbie? Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes for the HDC meeting held on June the 24th, 2014, made by Mr. Dyer and seconded by Mr. Kluckhuhn. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dyer.
Yes.
Mr. Kluckhuhn.
Yes.
Chairwoman Blitz.
Yes.
Mr. McSaney.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Agenda item 4 is HDC 003215 for 509B Main Street. And are you Miss Belinda Young?
Yes, I am.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. You too. You all.
And you are opening up a bookstore.
Yes, ma'am.
Very nice.
Thank you.
And you're putting up a canopy?
Yes, we're going to have an
Want to tell us a little bit
awning.
about it?
About the awning, or, I'm sorry? about
Yes, the awning.
The awning. Well, basically, I wanted to be able to attract all that are going by, something natural, kind of plain, but at the same time letting them know that we're here and we welcome them in.
Okay, and it's going to be in the burgundy?
Burgundy with white writing and
Is there going to be any other signage beside what's on the awning?
We were going to do another sign in the window, but we negotiated and decided that that's enough. Oh, I'm sorry, but there was one other thing that I was requesting. My sign designer actually came up with a unique idea to set a bench right there where the rocks are in front of 509. It's a little body of
Gravel.
ground, well, yeah, before you get to the sidewalk, and it would have chosen there also that they would actually, if someone sat outside of the store, that they would actually be sitting.
We have to check zoning to see if it, ordinance to see if it's, within the rights to do that.
Okay, so we're not gonna address that today.
That's not on tonight's agenda.
Oh, okay, well,
But
that,
that is a unique idea.
yeah, I thought if someone just came and sat, whether they just came out of the store or whatever, it, you know, that it would be
Right.
something unique and kind of decorative to attract those that are doing foot traffic.
But there will be, there will be your hours open on the.
On the door, absolutely. The current hours that are on there will be adjusted, instead of reinventing the wheel, we'll just change the hours. We were going to put the emblem in the window, but we decided to leave that for coming attractions.
Okay.
I like the color. Take a look.
Madam Chair, if there's no other discussion, I'd like to make a motion that we approve HDC 003-2015 as presented.
I'll second that.
Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the floor to approve HDC 0032015 as presented, made by Mr. Kluckhuhn and seconded by Mr. Dyer. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Kluckhuhn?
Yes.
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Mr. McSeany?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Chairwoman Blitz?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
I'm so looking
I'll-
forward to coming in there.
And I'm looking forward to everyone being excited about what we're going to be doing on Main Street.
I think it's great.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening, everyone.
Thank
You
you.
too.
We'll see you again soon.
Thank you, absolutely. Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. Agenda item 5 is HDC 0022015 for 211 10th Street, submitted by Katherine Broadhurst, who has asked that, she's requested that we hear this without her present.
An applicant couldn't come tonight. She's out of town. She had no one to represent her. So she has sent as much information as she can possibly send us, in addition to a window, even though her window will be a different size and it'll be a 2/2 window. But she has a contractor that can put her window in before he starts a major big job, and she's trying to get the window in before he goes to this big job, because she's afraid she won't get him in. And it's a wood window with vinyl cladding. And she does have existing aluminum siding, shutters, and vinyl siding on her house, she said. But she still tries to stay within the historic nature of the home. She's very aware of like using the better quality to have the historic look.
And so this sample is the type of window that's going to be put in there, just not the same.
Right. She'll have a 2/2 window.
And they're just the windows on the first floor? Is that what?
Yes. It's only 4 windows.
Yes, the ones that are
she's changing.
highlighted, right?
Yes.
And then, putting words in your mouth, do you think she has any plans to do the second floor windows?
I would imagine as her windows deteriorate, she would replace. I don't know if she has newer windows in the house now, but the pictures she sent with the condition of the existing windows would lead you to believe these are the worst case.
They look pretty bad.
The second floor, they didn't look that much better than the first floor from the exterior, so that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I expect that they'll be coming back, because I agree. They did not look particularly good shape.
And you know, once you put anything new in your house, it
Sticks
just
out.
makes everything else look like it needs to be replaced,
Yeah.
so
Well, everybody has a budget, maybe just, that's all she can do this time.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Obviously, she wants to make it look a little nicer and get the benefit of,
Well, and to her
Savings.
credit, she didn't go, it doesn't look like she went with like the cheapest one to
Right,
slap in
exactly.
there.
Mhm.
She truly is trying to stay with the historic look of the home, so.
and she'll get better value, for it, in terms of the insulation. Madam Chair, if there's no other discussion, I'd like to move that we approve HDC 002-2015 as presented.
I'll second that.
Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the floor to approve HGC 002-2015 as presented, made by Mr. Hayes and seconded by Mr. Kluckhuhn. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hayes? Mr. Kluckhuhn?
Yes.
Mr. McSeany?
Yes,
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Chairwoman Blitz?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Then we have a number of staff approvals. Are there any questions or comments about those?
Work on Main Street.
should we talk about the first one?
Maybe we should.
Yeah, probably so.
It's almost done. Give me another day or two and it should be done.
Good job.
Cedar shingles are tedious.
I bet they are. Good for you for doing that, though. They look so nice.
I don't know how old they were, the ones that were on there, but from the time I was a little boy, they were on there. And there wasn't much left of them.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Did you tear out the old ones before you put the new ones in? Was
Yeah,
that a mess?
It was, yeah, you were covered.
Yeah. We had 4 roofs. 4. And the bottom one was cedar.
Yeah. We had the
Holy
same thing.
cow, what a mess.
Yeah.
We're still trying to clean up the attic.
At 109, the house on the corner, that had a metal roof over top of a
Yeah,
cedar.
that's what ours was, yeah. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
So the metal, I thought the metal was original, but it wasn't.
Pretty much
they
the
crumbled,
cedar
they
shake,
just
they're
crumbled
getting
apart.
Firewood after that.
And I mean, the
These
dust.
were.
Yeah.
damp.
I mean, this is 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we had this done, and we're still getting,
You have to dry, they
Dust
do,
up there.
make a nice.
Hopefully it will improve Main Street.
Cool.
We're keeping them the same natural color.
Good. Thank you. Well, if there's no other comments about that, we're moving on to new business. Is there any?
I guess everybody's noticed, I can't tell you how long it's been, but, we have a new certificate based, as opposed to the old one. I think I was at least partially implicated in doing this. It's annoyed me for many years that our staff member, who is so diligent in everything, the way that she has worked, and unfortunately, it looks like it's more or less the same way, but anyway, we have, I think, a much better product here. IT helped with this, right? And,
Nice. Actually, I did notice, Jim. Actually, I did. Yeah.
Been a number of
Okay.
weeks, well, a few meetings.
Yes,
we've
it has
had.
been.
I know.
Yeah, 3 or
correct.
4, yeah.
Right. But my mission isn't accomplished yet. What I asked IT to do was to create a form like this that could be on the web and could be downloaded or could be filled in by the applicant on his computer.
Okay.
That's
doable, a fillable PDF.
Yes, a fillable PDF is what I have in mind. So I don't know, do you know whether this is a fillable PDF?
No, that's a Word document.
Which,
Okay.
which can be made into a PDF and then made into a fillable.
I bet it can.
It can be,
The
absolutely.
problem is, I mean, and I don't like to sound negative, but the problem is, if you would see the
You
applicant.
sound negative to me.
Application, I got at 4:30 this afternoon.
Yeah.
I looked up the awning company. I looked up the owner's address.
Mhm.
I looked up just about all the
Yeah,
information on there.
Yeah.
So the problem is, when you ask that citizens fill in their own applications, and we've had some, actually in this room, that just put their name, no address, no anything, so people are lazy when it comes to doing that. And then you've got the burden of, do you fill it in, or do you call them up, or do you ask them to fill? That's very
Well,
time
I think what you
consuming.
can do, and I'm not positive, but you can make it that they can't actually save it and print it, whatever, until they actually fill in certain places.
So
It can
from
be
staff time,
mandatory.
that means back and forth. I still need.
Well,
to- I still-
it can be a process, or it can be just one process. I mean, you could have them say, all these things have to be filled in with something.
Or you won't be able to
Well,
submit
Or-
it.
yeah,
yeah.
you won't be able to submit it.
Yeah.
But
No,
then
you
they
don't
can't
face the
submit all the
citizens. This young
backup.
lady came in 4:30 this afternoon. I made her application happen because we don't have a meeting.
And that
in
was
July.
fabulous, and I think you should still be able to do that.
Yes,
Right.
correct.
But when you tell people you're not going, if you don't bring me a complete whatever, I mean, it's a, you play nice to
No, I
people
understand,
because you're
but
trying to work with them
but if-
and get things accomplished. I mean, we have a Main Street coordinator that's running up and down trying to get these businesses in place. And this young lady actually has been in about 6 times, but she hasn't given me anything. She's given me ideas, she's given me canopy looks that she'd like to have, pretty fancy brackets that she swore she was gonna have till she checked the price of them. It all boils down to the dollars
Yeah.
and cents. I understand what you're saying, and hopefully the day will come when that happens and permits are done online, and it's
Yeah.
really out of my hands.
Yeah,
So
I mean, but you could
if
start the
wanna-
process, I mean, I still think it's important that you have the ability to do that at the last minute if it works out with the meeting time and your time, et cetera.
Well, I think my point is more easy to sit here and say, we'll just tell somebody that's not a complete application and we're not taking it.
Well, but see-
But when you face to face with these people, that's a very hard thing to do,
Yeah,
to tell
I-
somebody.
But
No.
you wouldn't have
Sympathize.
You
to.
wouldn't have to
They,
because,
they could come in and fill it out just like they normally do.
right,
Or they could fill it out online.
but they still have to fill it out completely.
Right, if they didn't fill it out completely, they wouldn't be able to submit it. So
But
it's
doesn't
just
that
like-
double her work? Because then she has to pull it up off the computer and look at it, and then she
Yeah,
has
you
to
would just
deal with
print
the
it.
applicant coming in.
Yeah, you would just print. If they did it online, you would just print it out.
I'm agreeable to
I
any way
agree,
that works
right.
the best for everybody involved. And this really, we're spinning wheels because it's not up to me, it's up to IT to make this happen. And
Yeah.
for the city of Laurel to decide if that's really where they want to go, we have permits every day that people come in and handwrite. Every day,
But
lots
they
of
do it.
permits.
They do it.
They do part of it,
They do
and
part
we
of
say,
it?
Mr. So-and-so, what's the completion amount for that job? Mr. So-and-so, how do you spell your last name? Mr. So, I mean, you're
So
constantly.
it's the same thing. So,
Yeah.
so
Do you have a company doing this job? Do you have a MLS number? Do you have, I mean, so you're
Right,
always.
but Jim, you're right, it's exactly the same thing, because if they were filling it in online, if they missed one of those, a little message would pop up and say, oop, you gotta fill that in, oop, you gotta fill that in.
Right, that is
If you've
really a
ever filled out
perfect
a
world,
government-
it's great.
Submitted a
And if that
government
works,
application.
I'm all about that. I'm
I mean,
not
I'm off,
trying
I'm
to be
off with you.
negative.
The service you give our citizens is terrific, okay? And I don't want
Thank
to take away from that. I mean, that's absolutely, but, I want to try to lessen your workload. You know,
I
if it-
understand
only
that,
if it's
and
only
I-
20% or 40% or something.
And I think maybe a first step to that, because and I know that IT has a lot on their plate, and I can go to them tomorrow and say, we're gonna have this interactive, and they're gonna say, all righty, we'll put you on the list of
Yeah, okay.
when that's
Well,
gonna happen.
I don't know how long
But we
ago-
can
2016.
tweak this one maybe in the meantime, like I really would like to do the print in blue against this black because it all looks like just a form to me. There's nothing to differentiate. So, I mean, there are some, and if you think other information's needed on that form or different information, maybe we should tweak our existing form and start there and then let IT know. And I think it is on their plate one day to go interactive with all their paperwork.
Yeah, I would hope so. Because they do a lot of other good stuff.
And you still have to be
But there's
humanized.
nothing else, back in your shop, Robert, there's nothing else that's like this, huh? I mean, everything's handwritten?
Everything's handwritten, or if, I mean, you get some sign companies that get a blanket
Yeah.
permit
And
and
what I
they type it or.
what I
do it.
really disagree with and don't like to see is the fact that the applicant sends in something, then you redo it, and you say their signature's on file.
Well, what I've started doing is giving you the application that they do sign when they bring it in.
Yeah, but, you
So
know,
I have started, and that's in their property file.
okay.
So I do have the fact that it is on file. I can prove it's on
Yeah,
file
yeah,
because
okay.
I have their application attached to what I type. And that was my dilemma. I've had this form on there over a year.
Hmm.
But I started it, and we usually have the three-part color form paper. One goes in the property file, the pink copy goes in the historic district file, and the other copy goes to the applicant if they want it. I hold their copies a lot, because then I know I have it for them if they ever need it. I give them that option.
I
So
told
when I
Kevin-
went to the one sheet of paper,
Yeah.
I was a little nervous about at what point am I gonna get them to sign this? They come in and apply, I type it up afterwards, they've left the building, I can't get them to sign it.
Yeah.
And then I thought I could run around with a clipboard during the meeting and get them to sign it, and that's
No.
a little tacky. So I just said, okay, I'll attach their application that they did sign. So I had that dilemma too, plus having to make copies, 2 other copies of that to go in the right files. So there were some of those things.
I talked to
involved with
Kevin
it.
about the 3 colored copies, and I told him that not to worry about that, because if it came down to everything else was perfect except the three different color copies, I'd buy a couple of reams of the 3 colors, and you could just go to the photocopy.
Copy it on those.
Well, here's another thought process. Our permits are printed on 3-part paper, and they're color-coded. I can print that form on the 3-part paper. Here's the problem.
You can
It's a
print-
printer, very old. It's a very old printer that you put through a lot of permits on every single day, and it's very old.
It's an Okie data printer?
That's exactly what it is.
Whoa, but those things never die. You go into a
Yeah, but
tire
if they
store-
do, now your
it's
whole
dead.
process has come to
Oh,
a.
yeah, that's
Right.
true. Right.
So I had that lined up to do that. I tested one, but that means the permit coordinator and I have to coordinate constantly because it doesn't line up exactly the same way. And then if we can't print permits, $10,000 permits for HDC form that ruined the printer, I would be in big trouble, so.
We don't want to get you in big trouble, that's for sure.
But I appreciate what you're saying. I appreciate the fact that it should be streamlined. I agree with that, but
It's a help to you more than
I know.
anybody else.
we did go one step up. We'll make
Yeah,
some other
yeah,
steps.
no,
here.
yeah. I mean,
But
this is,
don't they have to submit all their paperwork, and how would they submit that? Well, I guess they would scan and email it. It's all magic to me, I don't know.
They could also digitally sign it too.
yeah.
Also
Right.
magic.
I
PDF.
sign all my cruise papers. I think I'm so state of the art, and I'm an IT person because I'm doing this.
The digital signature.
Yes,
Yeah, good for
yes,
you.
it's electronic signing of
That's
everything.
right.
Yeah, I have to do that with all my lease agreements,
That's right, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they've got they're probably the first ones that were doing that with all those.
The
six
realtors.
Things you have to sign, yeah.
Oh, really?
You don't even have to see your realtor face to face anymore. You don't even have to see them.
Interesting.
It is.
Well, that's the only thing I had to
Yeah,
comment
any
on.
new
And I,
business.
I applaud, I think this is a much better looking product
It
than what we
is.
had
It's
before.
very
is.
professional
Yeah,
looking, very
it really
nice.
is.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
We can go, mini step by mini step.
We'll see if we can make an improvement for the next time.
Sure, why not? Very good. And thank you.
Something minute, like bigger type or different color. We don't want to get crazy
Can we
here
put
because
sound
you know
with
I
it?
am old.
Can we put sound with it so it'll talk to us or anything? Okay.
Well, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, you do.
I do. Lovely.
So you know what I meant to ask you, Jim? Do you watch, girls?
Excuse
You
me?
watch baseball?
Do I watch baseball? Yes, I watch. I don't watch a whole lot of baseball. I watch mostly the Nats.
Oh, do you?
Occasionally the
Oh, wow.
okay.
Because I know he's a big basketball fan, and sometimes when we're watching the same, especially Maryland women's basketball,